I don't think it's a coincidence, maybe it's the Holy Spirit work, that we are in the middle of this series on the Holy Spirit when we're recording this is super relevant to our lives, to everything happening around us. Although I wonder when you're seeing this during the weeks that you're seeing it, that actually it also will be very, very helpful and relevant. I think that's just how God works. Steve, thanks for teaching us part 2 of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And you had that illustration about the samples. You know?
Yeah.
Like did you make a bite and bail? Did you make a bite and bail?
I whatever comes to my mind, it just happens.
Be careful with that.
Why?
You never know, because in my case...
Am I going to get someone's going to get mad at me for plagiarizing?
No, somebody's going to get mad at you for saying the things that just come to mind.
Oh.
At least it's me.
Well, that's you.
Right.
There's a difference.
I write things out.
Because I have a filter.
I don't. Now listen, if our faith is not supposed to look like, the snacking, sampling thing, what would it look like for us, for our church? As if we really bought in as a church together, we went in for the buy-in.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where I think of the verse in Ephesians 3, 4.
We'll put it up on the screen so that people can read it along.
That God will do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. I think that's, like, when I think of, like, a church that is fully surrendered to what the Holy Spirit's doing, I don't even think we could quite articulate the possibility of what God could do in and through this church that's centered in the midst of one of the most de-churched areas in the country, a place that I think is longing for, I hesitate to use this word because it's thrown around a lot, but for revival, where we're experiencing.
Well, revival sounds like we're bringing things back alive again, and I think they just need to come alive
to life. Yeah, that's well put.
So that's why maybe a revival is not the most appropriate word.
Yeah, and it's bringing it back to, like, the shalom, the peace, the harmony that God created, and that's. I think too often revival looks like revolution and not as much like evolution, right? Or like things evolving and growing and changing and shifting into what God intends them to be. So yeah, I think the possibilities are endless. I think our communities in all the places that God has us knows that we're there for them. That's one of the things that I think comes through pretty quickly. That not just like the actual communities, but people throughout the communities go, you know what? Cornerstone's going to be for the people that are they are surrounded by.
So. Yeah, that excites me. That makes me want to buy in. Completely, absolutely.
We've been waiting for you to buy into this for a while, man.
I'm getting there.
Sorry.
That's good. Hey, you also reminded us that surrender is not weakness, but freedom. Okay, but how do you know the difference between healthy surrender to the Spirit and kind of giving up because life is just too overwhelming? We just went through the overwhelming series as well. I don't know. What's the difference?
I think the difference between giving up is just like, I'm not going to put any effort into pursue what Jesus desires for my life. Whereas surrender is like, no, this is yours. Like, now I'm like when you watch a war movie and people surrender, they get led to wherever they're being taken to. Like, that's what you're doing. You're like, all right, God, lead me. I'm surrendering to you. Like, your Holy Spirit leading and guiding and moving me exactly where you desire. That's what I'm surrendered to. And I think too, like, this type of surrender isn't just like I did it and I checked it off. Like when Paul writes to offer our bodies as a living sacrifice, I think that idea, I've had this picture in my head for a while about what that would look like to his audience. They'd go, no, there's no such thing as a living sacrifice, because if you put a living thing on an altar, it would just be like, I'm out. I'm not gonna let you kill me. So I'm gonna go. A living sacrifice, moment by moment by moment, chooses to get back up on the altar and says, I'm surrendering everything that I am. Not just this morning, but every single moment of the day to you.
If we were a people like that, Steve, I agree. We can get to in any of that. And that brings me to my last question, that you talked about how the Spirit's fruit is never just for the tree. You know, fruit is not for the tree. It's meant to bless others. What's maybe a practical way that you found that we can do to let the Spirit's work spill over into love and care for people around us this coming week?
I mean, I think that's when you think of the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, like no one's ever like, they're so peaceful, that must be so good for them. It's like, no, I experience peace when I'm around them. I experience joy when I'm in their presence. I think that's like the practical thing is in surrender, allowing the fruit to spill over. Like if you allow the fruit for people to experience that and taste that and see what it's like to encounter someone who is given their everything over to the living God, like those moments we'll start to recognize, like, oh, that's where love came through, and moments where it didn't used to, or patience came through in ways that it didn't used to. But it wasn't for my benefit. Yeah. It was for them. It was for them to experience what the Holy Spirit's all about.
Honestly, Steve, this conversation makes me hungry for that. Your message makes me hungry for that, and thank you. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, here's my challenge for you. Each one of us can probably identify, actually, as Steve was talking, one specific struggle that keeps showing up in our life. So let's this week practice surrendering it to the Spirit every day. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's your temper for some of you, or your worry, or your need to control, or your impatience. So each morning, do what Steve taught us. Open your hands and pray, Holy Spirit, this struggle is real, but you are stronger, and today I'm going to surrender it to you. And what do you think? What do you think would happen if we all did that? Imagine that. A community where peace replaces anxiety, where patience softens our relationships, and kindness perhaps restores people's hope. I want to imagine a church where the fruit of the Spirit isn't just kind of words in the Bible, but actual lived reality in our homes, in our work, in our school, in our neighborhoods. That's the kind of future the Spirit wants to grow in us, one step of surrender at a time. So before we leave, I wanted to give you a question to sit with. You can talk it over with someone beside you. You can drop your thoughts in the chat, or even send it in a text thread to friends. Or if you're more of a journaler, is that a word? You can jot it down to the top of today's page. Here's the question. What is one struggle you need to surrender to the Holy Spirit this week? And what might your life look like if you did? So glad you were here. Can't wait to see you next time.